McElhaney loves his cows. And the McElhaneys love their land. Their internationally known purebred shorthorn operation, located in the hill country of western Pennsylvania, is a productive, peaceful place. Their farm balances the needs of livestock and nature and represents a legacy of stewardship that will be passed on for generations. Their work to improve the environment has earned them a national reputation. Last year, Secretary of Agriculture Ann Vinneman used their land as a backdrop to announce USDA's expansion of the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program.
We were extremely honored to have that many folks of that magnitude and caliber here. It was a very big honor that they thought this much of this farm.
We created a little stir in this little community down here with having the governor here.
The McElhaney's good stewardship stretches back to the early 1970s when they first purchased the property and searched for ways to balance their off-farm careers with production agriculture.
We kind of had to start everything from scratch. There was no fences, there was no house, there was no machinery sheds. It was kind of a large undertaking at the time. We just had to change the way we did business if we wanted to keep our family on the farm. We started the rotational grazing system with technical assistance from NRCS, and everything that we've done basically has been done to NRCS specs.
Instead of producing traditional crops, the family switched to intensive grazing. They divided their land into 29 individual paddocks, ranging in size from 1.5 acres to 4 acres. To get better forage production, the family plants turnips, a forage that does well during Pennsylvania's hot summer days when other grasses have stopped growing. The family leaves natural areas like beaver ponds intact and undisturbed to protect and enhance wetlands. All of these things ensure healthier forage, sturdier soils that don't wash away, and cool streams that teem with fish.
The McElhaneys have taken the challenge with the land that they have to try and be good stewards. They look at the erosion, the water quality concerns here, and they've addressed it by implementing grass and the grazing system on their property. They've put in water systems to allow for good, clean water for the livestock as well as to protect the streams.
Whoever owns land is basically just a caretaker. We have to be able to pass it on to the next generation, and hopefully you pass it on in better shape when you got it. This farm will be in better shape when I pass it on, just through the conservation practices that we put into play.
Located in the hill country of western Pennsylvania, McElhaney Stock Farm is an innovator in grassland farming. The McElhaney family, who purchased this property in the early 1970s, recognized early on that crop farming didn't hold much of a future for their business. The hillsides were too steep and the soils were too erodible. So with the help of Pennsylvania GLCI and NRCS, the family switched from producing traditional crops to intensive grazing. They divided their land into 29 individual paddocks, ranging in size from 1.5 acres to 4 acres. This not only improved grassland health and productivity, it also protected streams and ponds from livestock impacts.
The reasoning behind our switch to grazing was in this part of the country, with the topography of the land, we had a lot of penalties to pay for raising corn, soybeans, so forth like that. We had the contour strip. We could not run 6-row corn planters. The efficiencies just weren't there for cropping this land. It does, however, raise grass extremely well, and with the cattle, they're much more efficient to harvest that forage than any other piece of equipment that we could actually buy. The other portion of it is quality of life. It's improved our situation. We're allowed to concentrate on what truly makes us money. We can fine-tune that and hone that to make it a lot more efficient that way. We can harvest around, it's working nearly $750 per acre. Corn crop today at $2 a bushel, with what we would typically get here in production out of corn, we'd probably only look at about $350 an acre on a gross income off of that acreage. So it's worked much better for us. It's more efficient and a higher gross revenue.
For their efforts to protect the environment, the McElhaneys received the Region 1 National Environmental Stewardship Award from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association in 2004. But the family isn't resting on its laurels. Recently, with the help of NRCS's EQIP program, the McElhaneys constructed a heavy-use feeding pad, which allows them to feed cattle during the wet winter months without impacting topsoil in pastures or water quality in nearby streams.
This structure here is a heavy-use feeding pad, feeding area. We don't have the opportunity to graze year-round. Typically, we can go into early December, but we do have to feed stored forages through our winter months, and this facility accommodates that. We do have a manure storage in the back here that allows us to store manure and then apply it later on when we don't have heavy rainfall or heavy snowfalls where we would have a lot of runoff issues. It does accommodate, typically we'll run about 80 cows back here, and at any one time 70 of them can eat at a time. We split them and size them in this facility, put larger cows to one side and smaller cows and younger females to the other side so they have a better opportunity to eat the forage.
This facility wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for the EQIP program. The McElhaneys have leveraged their environmental stewardship into the consumer marketplace by producing natural beef through Pennsylvania Quality Beef. The product, which receives no hormones or antibiotics, is aged for 17 days and sold in the Pittsburgh area. It's just one example of how producers can leverage their commitment to the environment and to producing quality beef into higher returns on their investment.
But it's worked out very well. We found out that that combine and that no-till corn planter sitting in that shed all winter never reproduced a thing.
USDA's Risk Management Agency is offering Pennsylvania producers 2 new risk management programs for pasture and hayland acreage of established perennial forages. The programs were developed to provide livestock and dairy producers the ability to purchase insurance protection for losses of forage for grazing or hay due to negative weather variations. Participating producers are not required to insure all of their acres, but cannot exceed the total number of grazing and/or haying acres they operate. This allows a producer to insure only those acres that are important to their grazing and hay operations. For more information about RMA, contact Eugene Gatz of USDA RMA at 717-787-4694.